What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 6 of Pro Corner. I'm your host, ChanManV, and got a special guest today, Mr. Backspace. How's it going, buddy?
Hi, everybody. Hi. It's-
Well, Backspace, guys, for those of you who don't know him, he's one of the best players in the world, in my opinion, and I think a lot of other people think the same thing. And he's synonymous with an aggro rogue that he created a couple of seasons ago that just was owned in the ladder, was beating Miracle Rogue quite a bit. I think was made specifically to beat Miracle Rogue originally, and it's been just good against a lot of other things in the meta right now. But we're going to talk a lot more about it. But in general, Backspace, how you doing these days, man?
Doing awesome.
You excited about Nax, man? Nax tomorrow? I
Yeah,
kind
actually,
of getting giddy about it, man.
I, I like playing the game for like 4 months now. I just any change to the game is amazing.
Yeah,
Like
right? Hmm.
the game's starting to get a little stale for most of us, I would assume, and I can't wait. Even if they had only printed 10 cards, I think it would have changed the game. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty excited.
Yeah, 30 cards. They're starting to reveal more and more of them, too. Today, on their Facebook page, I think they revealed another 5 of them, and I think the plan is just to
Really?
reveal them all. So you check that out, guys, if you haven't seen it. I think it's on Reddit, too, so you can find the links there. But yeah, really, really excited. But for now, we'll just pretend that Next isn't coming out, and we're going to talk about the meta right now on the ladder. And today, again, we're going to be talking about the Aggro Rogue. And generally speaking, I just mentioned that I felt like it was created to beat Miracle, at least what was really popular at the time, which was Miracle. But talk to us a little bit about just how it manifested itself.
Yeah. So the like 3 seasons or 2 seasons ago, however long it was, uh, I don't play Hearthstone all month long. I'll normally play like the last 3 or 4 days of the ladder, and I won't even be legendary until the last three or
Wow.
four days.
Okay.
Um, so after watching a bunch of people's streams, I saw that Druid was like about like only 5% of the field. Which if Druid is not popular, it actually opens up a lot of decks, like
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
deck design or whatever. And I noticed that everyone was playing Handlock to counter Miracle, and then Miracle, and that was like literally the entire field.
Hmm.
So whenever I saw that, I immediately started thinking about the cards that are good in those matchups, and like Cold Light isn't just clearly insane against
Yeah.
Giants. And any brand new deck when you first make it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Like
Hmm.
because they don't know your game plan, so you could actually make a little bit more mistakes at first, and you could actually have some card choices in it that aren't as like they aren't the perfect card choices for the deck.
Hmm.
So typically, whenever I go into a season, I'll start looking at a deck that I think would be surprising and that doesn't have a lot of major weaknesses. So this deck is obviously extremely aggressive and has a bunch of charge minions, and Cold Blood is a finisher. And since Druid wasn't popular at all, I knew that I could literally just Cold Blood things and just get into and just go face.
Yeah.
So
Even the first minion that you throw down, as long as you get that gold
yeah, go
blood in
ahead.
there. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, like whenever I made the deck, I wanted to literally only beat Giants and Miracle Rogue, and that was it. And back then, Miracle Rogue didn't have one Earthen Ring or two Earthen Rings like they do
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
And so like I mean, when you put them into lethal range with Leroy, they were dead the turn afterwards. Which is how I used to play the deck. I just put them in either lethal range with Leroy or Arcane Golem plus Cold Blood plus Eviscerate plus Shadow Step. Uh, but the deck's actually changed a lot now. Like it's actually evolved. I think Reels made a really really good list, and it's like actually sustaining. Like I like Reels'
Hmm.
list a
Yeah.
lot with uh, and the one backstab, which it wasn't backstab wasn't necessary back then, but I think it's actually really good now because it's just good in the mirror match, and like it's actually like really good against Zoo, which is a pretty popular deck now.
Yeah. Let's bring up the deck. Let's so we can just discuss it. Everybody can see it. And the deck over here is to the left, guys. And actually, let me bring it up too, so I can I can see it. All right. So discussing the cards, just really looking at key cards in the deck. You brought up a few, at least modern tweaks to it, which is the backstab and even like the ringleaders. But let's talk about the cards that are huge swings. Maybe the cards that give you just a larger winning percentage generally when you play the deck.
Uh, Typically in this deck, if you draw Leroy, Assassin's Blade, or Mukla, like or
Yeah.
Coin Defiance Ringleader. Those are the biggest swings in the deck. Uh, and also like your win percentage is pretty high if you go turn one Argent Squared. But Buckler and Assassin's Blade are kind of like if you draw them, you're gonna win. And most of the time, Leroy, if you draw him, like you're probably gonna win too. Which is funny because like you typically don't keep those cards in your mulligan.
Yeah.
So you need the synergy of the other cards to also work well with them. But yeah. Also Blade Flurry is a big swinging card, especially in this deck because like you pressure him really early, then you lose board control, and then
Hmm.
you're just like, oh, Blade Flurry, clear everything.
Right.
Which I think this deck has the best Blade Flurry in it. Than like Miracle Rogue had like their Blade Flurry's fine, but in this deck you actually kill like 2 or 3 minions most of the time.
And Blade Flurry is, I mean, typically, are you gonna get Assassin's Blade before Blade Flurry? Like in most instances, like where you just get maybe a couple swings from Assassins and then have to
Yeah,
clear the board type of thing, or are you talking about just even just getting it with a dagger is pretty
just
good
getting it
against?
like most of the time it's with a deadly poison. But like
Hmm.
it's obviously matchup based. Like you only need a Blade Flurry for one in the mirror match and against Sue.
Yeah.
But in like against Shaman or whatever, like I know that at least I read that a lot of people have like a hard time with Shaman,
Hmm.
and I thought it was like one of my best matchups. Just because like they couldn't handle one deadly poison, so like in that matchup I was like mulliganing for only deadly poison,
Right.
and then I was winning most of the matchups. Uh, but yeah, Blade Flurry, like typically it'll clear like 2 or 3 minions because like Yetis and like stuff like that, they have to attack your minions.
Yeah.
So like they normally have like 3 toughness. So yeah, typically if you draw Mukla like really early on, Assassin's Blade or Blade Flurry, you mostly win those games.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Arcane Golem. So Arcane Golem obviously comes with the penalty of giving your opponent an extra mana, which can accelerate them to some key cards. When do you use this? Do you save this as a finisher, or do you try to push damage even early on?
I do both. So like there's oftentimes on like turn 5 or 6 I'll play him and shadow step him so that he costs 1 the turn afterwards.
Yes.
So that I could deal more damage the next turn. But those are the only times that I'll do it. Is like if I'm gonna set up a big kill the turn afterwards. Uh, I almost never run him out on turn 3 or 4 unless if like I have 2 arcane golems and like a sap and my hand's just like really really bad.
Right.
Uh, but typically he's just a finisher like on turn 7.
Yeah, I've had the
Uh,
double shadow step on Arcane Golem quite a few times. That's pretty painful with the cold blood. It's like, who needs Leroy when you've got the Arcane Golem? It's just even cheaper. It's crazy. It's pretty brutal. But let's talk about the matchups that it's. I guess let's talk about the great matchups. Maybe the top two matchups, and then maybe the worst two matchups. Uh oh.
anything.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Oh, I
there we
lost
go.
you for a second. There you go. Yeah. So let's talk about the best two matchups for the deck, and then the worst two matchups.
Okay, so I think the best 2 matchups are probably Giants and Hunter. And like
Okay.
with Hunter, like if they don't draw at least 3 traps in the first couple of turns, like they have to go turn 2 trap, turn 3 trap, turn 4 trap type of thing.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh, they can't catch up to you because like they're always going to be at lower life than you. Like your hero power
Mhm.
does the exact same amount of damage as theirs does. Like
Yeah.
you pay 2 mana, it does 2 damage, vice versa, and you're just way more aggressive than them. So it gets to the point where like they're at like 19 and you're at 26, and they're just constantly having to remove your creatures.
Hmm.
Uh, that's how the matchup goes whenever I'm playing it. I have read that other people are having kind of a hard time in the matchups, but I'm just extremely aggressive in the matchup. I had never killed the creatures, and I just always go face. So I think that's actually our best matchup. I think it's like
Hunter.
80%, maybe 80 to 75% win
Does
ratio.
does it matter which hunter? I mean, is mid range hunter, aggro hunter?
No, both of them like mid-range hunter can't like keep up because they're really really slow. Uh, but I think the aggro hunter is probably a better matchup. But no, just hunter in general, you're probably like 70-ish% to win rate. And then giants, if they know that you're backspace rogue, like and they play their hand extremely aggressively. So like they just drop like their entire hand knowing that you're going to cold light. The matchup is probably a little more like 65-ish. And if they don't do that, where if they go like life tap, I don't know. I've never lost a game. So like I would just assume that you should win all the time because every time you cast your cold light, you burn cards. Every time you cast a muckle, you burn cards. But like I have played games where like it's not fair whenever I'm playing because like if I play this deck on ladder, like they all know that I'm Backspace Rogue.
Right.
So like they're going to just play their hand out as aggressively as possible. But I assume that other people play this deck, they would still have to have a guessing game or have had to play you previously. And if the guessing game is he Miracle, is he not, they might not play their hand as aggressively or like Soulfire or something early on. And if they do it that way, the matchup's still pretty good. The worst matchup is Super Taunt Druid. And I'm not talking about like turn 4 Senjin, turn 5 Bear Form or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about like running 2 Defender Vargas, 2 of the small Defender Vargas. I don't know what it's called. Argent something or another.
Sun Fury Protector?
Yeah, Sun Fury Protector. Like that version of Druid is you can't beat that because if they put up like 2 taunts, you generally are not going to be able to push through the second time that they do it, or just a bear form after that.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. I would think that like Ram Druid would have been tougher with the giant taunts.
No, because like Senjin's so easy for this deck to kill. It just takes like a Cold Blood and a Argent Squire, and like bear form isn't really that hard. And if you ever sap them, they're just so far behind that you can just generally burn them out, like eviscerate them out afterwards. So like the more like I don't know, Defender and like Sun Fury, like since they're taunting up their Yetis all the time and like they're taunting up their other defenders, like it's just way too much that you just have to kill their creatures. And this deck can literally only deal about like 35 damage in a game. So like you really have to pick and choose where you're going to put that 5 damage or whatever. Because the other 30 has to go to the face.
Wow, okay.
So,
I didn't realize that. It was that little damage.
I mean, like, there are obviously some games where, like, your opponent just doesn't clear your board and you can deal, like, a lot of damage. And, you know, you look at your hand at the end of the game and you still have, like, a Leroy and a Shadow Step or something. But, like, at like, the very, very higher levels, like, of Legendary, you have 35 damage and you get to pick and choose how you're going to divide it. All right, at least that's my experience with playtesting.
Yeah, I mean, I know at, like, the highest of levels, even just one little... one damage that you just missed ends up costing you the game because of, just how exact you have to be at the end. You typically, I mean, so with the games, do you feel like more games are just like landslides, or more games are just I literally had exactly enough damage to win?
Yeah, most of the time it's I had exactly enough damage to win.
Okay,
that's
cool.
Like, I played a lot of Magic, so like. Mm-hmm. In Magic, there are decks that are just 65% to win no matter what your opponent is playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds like a good deck, but when you're playing a tournament with 10 rounds, it means that you're going to go, six-ish wins on average.
Right.
But on ladder, a 65% win ratio is pretty insane, which is pretty much what this deck has versus the entire field, almost always. Mm-hmm. It's just, like, you're just goldfishing out your draw. Like, like, no matter what you do and no matter what your opponent does, you're going to be able to deal 30 damage. Right. Which I think that this is the only deck that has something like that, where it's just, I automatically win if I draw these cards.
Yeah.
Like Gadgets and Conceal and like Gadgets and Prep Conceal is like another one, I guess, that does that. But other than those 2 decks, I don't think that there's a consistency of... Because, like, if you go, like, Innervate Yeti turn 2, like, you don't automatically win.
Yeah, you
like,
just get off to a lead.
Favorite, but...
Yeah, it's not like a like definite stomper there.
Whereas, like, if I drop, like, an Argent Squire and Cold Blood it, like, you're, like, never losing that game, right? Like, or even just, I don't think I've lost a game where I've just gone, like, Coin Defiance. Like, you're just automatically ahead. They eat...
Wow.
Like it's
Okay.
like put a 2/2 into play, eat your opponent's hero power, and then the turn afterwards you get to fill the board up also.
Hmm. Okay.
Like
Yeah, I mean, I've
so
always
this
thought
deck
about
has
Muckla for sure as being like, oh man, it's like over if you get Muckla out there, but I never thought about it like even just with Argent Squire. Wow.
yeah. I mean, Archie Squire's hands down the best. I mean, it's the most sticky minion in the game. It just stays in play, which is pretty incredible and like has a lot of uses in other decks for that reason.
Yeah.
Uh, Here we can actually talk about possible cards that
Yeah.
I would cut from the deck.
Okay. Sure.
Like the worst cards in the deck right now is Backstab, Leper Gnome, and Loot Hoarder. And the second that we actually have a replacement for those,
Mm-hmm.
I think this deck will be even more consistent. Like Leper Gnome is only bad because typically it's 1 mana, deal 3 damage, right?
Yeah.
Like the only reason why you play it over
Well, it
the
deals
1
you
mana spell that just
three
deals
damage or
3
two
damage.
damage.
Well, normally like against Druid, it just eats their hero power
Okay.
or whatever,
Mhm.
and that it deals 3. And then against Mage, it does 2 damage. And then against Rogue, it does 4. But most of the time, they follow it up with
Oh,
an
okay.
Earthen Ring.
So an average is 3. Okay,
So-
I get it. Got it.
Right. Uh, so like the worst cards in the deck is like Leper Gnome, the one Backstab, and then Loot Hoarder. And the second that this deck actually has replacements for those, I can't see this deck. I don't know. This deck is going to be incredible. When the new set comes out, I think this deck definitely has some buffs to it.
So replacements
really know what
like
yet.
card drawing replacements, like with Loot Hoarder, because Loot Hoarder obviously is specific for that reason
Yeah,
versus
Loot Hoarder-
damage.
Yeah, correct. Loot Hoarder is only in there to draw into Cold Light or into just the finishers, Shadow Step, Arcane Golem, I guess Leroy.
I guess
I actually win more games. Well, I actually win more games without Leroy than like I do with Leroy
Okay.
or whatever. Like
Wow.
Leroy in this deck, Leroy normally kills 4/6 taunts.
Oh wow. Okay. right.
Like that's. I'm just like he's just a cheaper 5 mana destroy target creature, whatever that card is called, in most matchups. And in the Giants matchup also, like he just kills a giant most of the time.
Okay.
But yeah, like what I was trying to say about Leper Gnome is if I could get one more sticky creature, and what I mean by sticky creature is a creature that doesn't die the turn it comes into play.
Oh, there's plenty of those in Axe. There's
yeah.
plenty of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. If I could get one more, this deck would be so consistent to the point that I think that they'd start restricting cards, like or changing cards. Like in this current meta, I think everyone wants Auctioneer just to go away. Or at least that was my experience whenever I was playing a lot. But like, I don't even think Auctioneer is the problem. I don't think Leroy is the problem either. I think the problem was actually just Shadow Step, right? Like,
Yeah.
Shadow Step is insane, right? Like, it functions the entire deck. And, like, Miracle Rogue would not be playable if Shadow Step wasn't in it also. So, like, I don't even know where I was going with that.
Well, Shadow Step gives you that one finish, right? I mean, it's like the one essential card. I mean, outside of Leroy, the actual damage itself. It's either the damage itself or the facility, and Shadow Step is a facility, right? In this case, and it's flexible too, right? Because you can use it with Earthen Ring, you can use it with Edwin, so you can use it all over the place too.
Yeah, you
So
use it with Edwin, Cold Light,
Auctioneer,
Muckla.
too,
I use it with
sometimes.
Muckla like very often.
oh yeah,
Like
exactly.
the turn, like I'll play Muckla in turn 3 and kill their Earthen Ring, and then just Shadow Step and then play something else, and like I'm like, oh, now you have 4 bananas.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, so let's talk about those cute plays, right? Which is trying to burn cards, and you actually see that with a giant, which is actually viable against the hand lock.
Yeah.
But how often do you try to do that, and because, do you actually care if your opponent draws a lot of cards or not?
I'm getting a little disconnected. Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would assume that you burn cards a lot less now that everyone plays against the deck, and they know that that's an option. Maybe not in the non-legendaries. You need to burn more cards more often. But as far as legendaries are concerned, I would assume that nobody would ever let their opponents burn cards. Like your opponent should be playing their hands out. And actually, like I mentioned that, like if you're gonna sap a Muckla, most of the time you want to bananas the Muckla before you sap it, like in this matchup.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, just so that you don't have to burn cards later. Or at least I do whenever I sap a Muckla. I'm just like, here, take both your bananas, sap it.
Wow, I've never done that play. That's cool. Okay.
So the matchups that still exist that you can burn cards is probably Giants and Freeze Mage. And in fact, the Freeze Mage matchup, Firebat and I, we were trying to figure out a way to consistently beat it. And there's two ways that we were beating it. One was playing extremely passively and using our hero power nonstop, right? And then they would think that you're Miracle Rogue. And then afterwards, on like turn 6 or 7, or like turn 5, you start playing your Argent Squire, your Leopard Gnome, and they know that you're Backspace Rogue. But it's already too late because they haven't cast any spells, and typically they cast draw card spells. So they're gonna have like 8 or 9 cards in their hand at this point in time, and they've only hero powered you like 2 or 3 times or something like that.
Right.
And now you just like play a Muckla and a Cold Light and Shadow Step it. And if you burn 6 cards in any Freeze Mage matchup, it doesn't matter what 6 they are.
Yeah.
You always win. Because if you get rid of a Fireball, you typically win. If you get rid of Alexstrasza, you win. And if you get rid of almost any of their secrets, they don't have enough utilities left in their deck to beat you.
Yeah.
That's what we found out in playtesting. The other really cool way to beat them, which we did this twice in playtesting, was Doomsayer. They would cast a Doomsayer, and we'd pop their block and then play Leopard Gnome. So on their turn,
Nice.
it would kill the Leopard Gnome and then they'd die, which was really awesome. And the first time that we did it completely on accident, and he and I were both like, "What?"
Yeah.
But the second time, we obviously set up for it. So
Yeah. No, that's
that
awesome.
was
Definitely
that was a really
awesome.
cool play.
All right, so why don't we just jump into games instead of talking?
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of the viewers are like, "Come on, let's just play some games." So let's go ahead and start one, and then we can talk about the individual matchups as we come across them.
Awesome.
All right, so here we go. See what we end up running into. I hope we run into some Zoo too, because I know a lot of folks are probably. I know some folks have had issues playing against Zoo too.
Yeah, actually, I like how Realist plays the matchup. He just like controls the board until they, and then like your creatures aren't as relevant because they're taking 2 damage a turn. So the way that he plays it is probably how I'm gonna play it.
All right, got Druid, which is super popular right now. All right, mulligan time. So, okay, here we go.
So yeah, just keep Argent Squire and I think get rid of SI and Leopard Gnome.
Okay.
Because we're gonna go turn 1 Argent Squire, turn 2 Muckla.
Yeah, turn 2. That's so good.
It's kind of like the more opportunities we have to draw into sap right now, probably the better. So
Okay.
yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great. Assassin's Blade. Yeah, Assassin's Blade with poison too in this deck. Oh, okay, there we go. Cold Light too. All right, so Argent Squire, of course, right?
The light protects
Yeah.
me.
Is there anything that we could draw that we wouldn't coin Muckla here?
There's not anything that we would draw, but there is stuff that he could do. Like if he like coins out a Violet Teacher, we probably wouldn't play Muckla.
Of course, okay. That's
Right. But there's nothing that we would draw that would change our play. And yeah, you just play Muckla and attack him for 1.
true. All right, so banana time.
And I guess like his best play would be like Innervate Banana Big Game Hunter.
Yeah, actually, that would be pretty good. But that would be
I could.
very unlikely he has that play.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a sap too. Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
sap.
we're setting up great here. Cold Light?
No, I don't almost ever cast Cold Light early. Just because it gives your opponents like a lot of options, and that hero power does like it's a real hero power. Like it does 2 damage. So this turn I'd probably just Muckla his face and then hero power and attack him for 1.
Okay.
And we don't want to like use Cold Blood or anything.
Here we go.
So we don't want to give our opponent like a free big game hunter target.
Okay. Yeah, that's the main reason, right? A lot of times
Yeah.
you just want to throw a Cold Blood anytime you get a chance, right? And just to get the damage in, or still
Yeah.
you want to be very selective about it, like maybe even removal situations.
All right, how many cards does our opponent have?
He has a 8, and that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about even just
So
finish-
we
Shadow
would
Step last
burn
time.
2 cards. So if we burn 2 cards and then we no, we wouldn't be able to cold blood. We could Oracle.
We can Oracle in
Shadow
Mukla, actually. Shadow Step Mukla and play him, right?
Yeah, so attack his guy and then Shadow Step your Mukla afterwards and then play Cold Light. See, like when you have Mukla in play, you don't want them to use their bananas. You want them to clog up their hand.
Okay, so Shadow Step Mukla, right?
Yeah, and then
Play Mukla, right?
Play Mukla and then play Cold Light.
Yeah, we want to give him the
and then play
bananas
Cold
and then burn real cards.
And then attack him for 1 with your weapon afterwards.
Alright, and then let's see what we burn here. We're going to burn real cards here instead of the bananas.
Yeah.
Choose soon.
We have Assassin's Blade and Poison.
Oh, those are 2 good cards.
Here we
Alright, so we swing here.
Awesome. Yep.
Alright. Looking in great shape. This is like a very ideal. Oh, and Savage Roar too. It's good
Yeah, I've
situations
played
here.
G-Bulls a couple of times, I think.
Oh, still had another
Wait,
Drew the Claw. Nice.
That's fine. He has how many cards did I say? 9?
He should have 9. He just spent 1.
So, I guess we sap, Cold Blood, and Defiance this turn? And Cold Blood your Cold Light?
Cold Light, right? So Sab.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna Cold Blood this guy, make him a 6/2, and then
Yep.
scrub it. Alright.
And then, like...
Board's looking pretty good. Not even sure what he
this
can
is-
do, actually.
I don't think he can do very much.
Oh, and he loses
And,
a swipe too. Ouch.
We have a lot of ways to have lethal. He has to have an Innervate, and that's about it.
Okay.
Alright, and then
Let's Drew the
looks
Claw
like we
again.
win.
We win. And Assassin's Blade, Deadly Poison, got a lot of good stuff here. Alright, boom, boom, 7. Yeah, we just.
Yeah, we have lethal with Assassin's Blade, and yeah. Okay, that's actually a very rare game. This
Yeah,
deck
this
doesn't
is
really
like
play out
ideal
that.
game. That's the way to start, man. Show them how powerful the deck is, and then we can work down from there.
Normally we have to put up way more of a fight and do some sort of tricky plays to get in damage, but
Yeah.
that was just awesome.
You mind lowering your camera just a tiny bit?
Oh yeah.
I got this like
Sorry,
kind of small camera window here, so it's just like I gotta stay super still here. Okay, here we go. All right, hopefully not another druid, but there's a good chance we're going to be playing a druid again.
Yeah, Firebat told me it's like a very large portion of the meta.
Yeah. Pretty much these days, all I play is druid, warlock, and rogue on ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what Firebat told me. So Druid, then Warlock, not Giants, just Zoo.
Yeah. Okay, Mira. Mira should be cool. So of course, I've been seeing a lot, just as much of Aggro Rogue as Miracle, so it's actually kind of hard to predict. But is there a difference in how we would mulligan here?
Yeah, if we're seeing more aggro, we would keep the backstab. I'd probably get rid of Eviscerate and Loot Hoarder.
Okay.
And yeah, just keep those 2. Oh, this is good. You have a 1-drop,
Yeah. What were we digging for in against this matchup?
so.
What's the most important card in this matchup? Oh. Losing them a
And
little bit.
Mukla.
There we go. Oh. Sorry, we lost you there for a second.
Oh. So you're looking for like Assassin's Blade 1-drops and Mukla.
Okay.
That's about it. You only keep his SI7 if you have coin. Yeah, go ahead and turn 1.
Leper Gnome.
Yep. And it doesn't mean completely that he's not the aggro by him not playing a 1-drop. He could have just drawn a bad hand.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing like getting completely surprised
Whoa.
by your opponent. Ooh, got a
He
Leroy
just
now.
he just weaponed and passed.
Yeah, he just weaponed and passed, which is either a really, really bad hand.
So
It's got to be a really
guess
bad hand, right? Jeez.
I guess you just weapon and attack his face and then attack him with the.
Okay.
Like we could do like some sort of coin SI7 thing, but then that just opens us up to backstab SI7
Yeah.
type of stuff.
It's kind of a counter to
I'd
it.
rather not do that. I'd rather us
Here
be
we go.
backstabbing, SI7ing his stuff.
Okay. So this leopard gnome could be doing a lot of damage here.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the backstab. Okay, all right, so we saved it.
Yeah, that's actually kind of weird. He actually might be aggro just from this line, because I don't think a Miracle Rogue player would want to take more damage.
Okay.
Alright,
Alright, so given
we draw.
that...
So I would backstab his guy, attack with the weapon, and then just SI his face.
Here we
and
go.
maximize the damage. Alright. So we'll probably find out.
And currently, right now, we have a lot of tempo. Like, he's the guy that has to deal with our stuff.
Yeah.
And also, like, in the mirror match, whoever plays Cold Light first always loses. That's in the aggro mirror match. But if he's Miracle Rogue, we might just throw out that Cold Light. Because how much damage do we have? In our hand, we have 14.
14 plus Blade Flurry, depending on what we have. But 14 with just the Cold Blood and the Leroy's. And we don't have much of a... We don't have any other play, really, right now, so...
So many options.
So if we weapon him, we could get him to 18. Yeah, just go ahead and play Cold Light.
Okay.
We still need just a little bit more damage.
So why is it generally that people lose whoever Cold Lights first?
Play Defiance Ring leaders. Because whoever plays Cold Light first in the aggro mirror match, you're playing one spell and they get to play like 3 with all their. So like they get to play with all their new cards before you do, and your entire turn's taken up by playing a 3-mana 2/2.
Okay, gotcha. Puts you just a little bit behind even just right off the bat. Okay, I see what you mean.
Okay, it looks like we just automatically win here.
Yeah, it's Miracle obviously with the Drake there. And then we've got 20 damage in our hand.
So what do we do this turn? We're gonna have 6 mana next turn.
Yeah. So we could arcane. We can't really proc the agent right now, unless we just cold blood one of these guys.
So if we arcane and weapon him, that'll put him to 11, and then we have 14. So he'd have to have double Earthing Ring the turn afterwards.
Yeah.
To live. Yeah, I'd probably do that. Just arcane and then weapon his face.
Yeah.
And everything to the face. So currently we can beat Earthing Ring Shadow Step, but we can't beat 3
Double.
Earthing Ring activations right now.
Which would be pretty fortunate for him to have all of that in the first 12 cards.
Well, and also he'd have to clear our board too, but
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
not too hard for them to do that most of the time.
Just did it there. Oh, here we go. 1. Oh my God, does he have both? Seriously? Let's see.
That's unlucky.
Let's see. Does he have both? No, he doesn't. Oh God.
All right, so we 14 damage, and he only has 3 cards. Okay, so we have to set up lethal again.
Wow. Okay, this is gonna be tough.
So if we Blade Flurry, SI7 him, yeah, just Blade Flurry and then SI7 his face. That puts him at 14. So he has to have like a way to kill us and or a Shadow Step, and that's fine.
All right. So here we go. Right, and these are the. This is like the normal games where it comes down to the wire.
Yeah, yeah. This is definitely a typical game where like they have to miss and you still have like perfect damage or whatever.
Yeah. Might have it.
That's fine still. He sort of used 8-blade flurry, right?
Yeah, he used one. Oh, this rate. Okay. So well, he just had the cards. What can we do?
Yeah, that's kind of unlucky. I don't know if we could have played something differently. I don't think giving him the 1 extra mana made us lose the game.
I think the only alternate line we could have done is we could have played Cold Blood on one of those guys.
Yeah, we could have Leroy blooded him the turn that we played the Arcane Golem, but I don't think that we still would have won if we did that line.
Yeah.
I'd have to like go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, I mean, he still
Yeah,
would.
it's just kind of-
He
kind of
still would have
unlucky
Earthen
that
Ring.
he
He
had
still
all
would have
that-
healed to 6. So, or he still would have healed 6
Like-
regardless.
Like if his hand was like gadgets and prep, just almost any like different cards, like we would have won. But
yeah.
it's kind of unlucky.
Yeah, it happens. Definitely happens, especially when you're playing Miracle. Alright, so next up, let's see what we got here. Okay, Druid again.
Awesome.
Hopefully it won't be quite as ideal, so we can grind through it a little bit.
You're back.
Alright, so we've got the 3 damage Leper Gnome. keep it.
So sometimes I like keeping Salcy and Deadly Poison, because like on like turn 2 you can whip it up, and turn 3 you could Deadly Poison and Salcy and kill a Yeti.
Okay.
But I think we can just get rid of the Salcy and keep the Leper Gnome because we're on the play.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, keep Deadly, of course.
Yeah. Actually, Deadly Poison, the only matchups I keep it in is Shaman and Druid. And
Yeah.
those are like the only 2 matchups I would keep it in my opener. Other than that, I would just mulligan for Minion.
Alright, drew the Cold Light too.
Yep. And this is actually going to be more of a normal, like Druidish game, because our hand isn't insane.
Didn't start with the Mukla, and we don't have the coin either, so it's
Yeah.
huge deal. Okay, so he's only going to take 2 damage here with the Wrath. It's definitely a good situation for him. Alright, turn 2. It's hero power, right?
All right, and then just hero power and attack him.
Okay, so we actually attack here, even if we're holding poison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you don't want to discard damage, and next turn like you could easily just re-weapon and deadly. And in fact, if you're going to do that, most likely you're going to attack with your weapon charge first.
Yep. And then just reload.
Yep. And that's actually exactly what I would do. I would attack him, re-weapon, and then deadly.
Here we go.
Just ignore that Panther. He's
Yep.
not there, guys. He's not there. As he swipes us in the face.
And on his turn 3, I can't even think of like bad things that he could do. Pretty much anything that he could do is good for us.
Claw.
I guess Claw to the face kind of sucks.
Yeah, 3 armor there.
Yeah.
Getting some damage too. It's not as good as you get here. Defiance.
So attack his face, Blade Flurry, and then Defiance.
Defiance, okay.
Here we go.
Alright, so we get 6 damage here, and then these guys on the board.
And like I actually don't like using the Blade Flurry, but we don't have any way to activate that guy, and like typically this is going to deal. Yeah, I mean we put 2 minions on the board, so it's obviously just good.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't
this is
deal
actually
with
a
this
bad-
easily. Ooh.
Token Druid is actually not the greatest of matchups, because they can use all the Cold Light cards faster than you can use them most of the time. But it's not the worst of matchups. And this next turn kind of looks like we're just going to Cold Light and Dagger, but let's Cold Light first and see what we draw.
Alright. Yeah, the Token Druid definitely curves a little bit lower than the other types of druids. Okay, so we got Eviscerate. We can actually put damage to his face, or we could just weapon up here.
Weapon and attack him, or just play Leper Gnome. I'm trying to think which one's better. Like between, I think since we have a Cold Blood, playing the Leper Gnome is probably more important than getting in that 1 damage. Because we could backstab, eviscerate, a bear form taunter to get rid of it, and then just Cold Blood and get in there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't love the Eviscerate just to
So
face here,
many
but
options.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to eviscerate his face yet. Yeah, go ahead and just weapon and attack
yeah,
him.
I'm feeling weapon is probably going to be better.
Here we go.
We have 6 mana next turn, and we actually have. If we wanted to play the whole thing here, we could. Well, actually, no. The Cold Blood would make it 7.
Pay attention, class.
He's at 20. He's at like such high life. Okay, we're gonna probably have to deal with that guy. That would be like one of the only minions that we're gonna like be forced into clearing.
Okay.
Ooh,
Good turn for him there.
and a harvest golem. All right, let's think about how we do this turn. So
I think we have to.
So
This rate seems to
many
be-
options.
Most efficient way to get rid of Violet Teacher. But
21. So how much damage do we have? Currently in our hand we have 12, 14, 14, 17. So we need to find 4 damage to win. I would just
wonder.
play Oracle and then probably Leopard Gnome. All right, let's play Oracle first.
Yeah. And then probably Leopard this. See.
We're probably cold blooding.
I think I this.
We could cold blood. Yeah, that's fine. Wait, so we have 7 mana next turn, and we
Yeah.
have
We've got 7
that
mana,
costs
pretty much.
4, 7. Okay, yeah, go ahead and SI his face and just attack him for 2, and then weapon his face too.
This guy's toast.
Yeah,
Everything
this gives us the
we
best chance here.
Go.
Just hope he doesn't have an
Yeah.
Ancient Allure. And next turn we have 12. We actually have lethal if he doesn't clear this board for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
We have 16.
Yeah.
Well, no, we have 16 anyway.
Oh, here comes the,
4,
here comes the swipe.
5, 7. That's good. You want him to swipe.
Yeah.
All right, and then just kill him next turn. Because Arcane Golem costs 4, Cold Plus costs 5, and Viscerate costs 7 mana total.
Oh,
We have
it's
16.
Cold Blood. So, yeah,
Oh,
so
now
4.
now we have more damage, but yeah. So just Arcane
Arcane.
Golem, double Cold Blood.
And then we got the option of
You do whatever
things,
choice,
whatever we
sort of
wanna do.
finish you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, and that's how you win a lot of times, guys. Just sudden burst comes out of nowhere, double cold blood or shadow steps or any combination of those things.
I almost wanted to kill the Violet Teacher, but luckily I started counting damage.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people's first instinct is to kill the Violet Teacher.
Like I said, if you ever miss like any damage with this deck, you just lose. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
and weaponing that turn over Leopard Gnome ended up being wrong, but it might have generally been correct. But also on that turn, like if we played Leopard Gnome and he swiped, I think that's like good for us. So maybe we
Yeah.
should have played the Leopard.
yeah, that's a good point. It would have been extra damage there. That's true. Yeah, if it went one more